On Thursday, Governor Albert Bryan Jr. announced that he'd signed an agreement with VIGL Operations LLC, a casino management company, that the governor said would solve long-standing horse racing issues in the territory.
My administration has been committed to bringing horse racing back. As soon as we got into office, we started on this quest. And over the last 3.5 years, we've had lots of barriers and bumps, but we always managed to keep on course in bringing horse racing closer to you.
The governor noted that he'd traveled to New York earlier this year to see the Traverse Stakes. He said part of the reason for the trip was to make progress in the development of the equestrian program for young people in St. Croix and the equine rehabilitation program for inmates. Governor Bryan noted that the trip was also necessary to get a first-hand look at horse racing. Now, the sport has suffered major setbacks in the USVI, with repairs and development of the racing tracks on St. Croix and St. Thomas bogged down with lawsuits over exclusivity rights for video lottery terminals on St. Thomas. The governor said though horse racing was good for the territory, the initial agreement signed with VIGL in 2016 to build racing tracks on both St. Croix and St. Thomas was, quote, fraught with contention over the issue of who would have the right to operate video lottery terminals at the St. Thomas facility.
Once it was signed, there was immediate lawsuit from the then Traxco firm that was running the track at the time and the Racino there. There was a settlement made where the government and the VIGL agreed to pay out $1.8 million to Traxco in order to settle what was a long-standing contract by that organization. When we got over that, then we were challenged by the FAA. The track had to be approved in terms of the new track that was going to be built, the buildings there, and everything else. While doing that, we were also challenged by a lawsuit by Southland Gaming, who claimed the exclusive right to have gaming on the island of St. Thomas and St. John, as described in their contract. They felt that they were being implied upon by this contract that was signed. When we had all of that going, if that wasn't enough, we also had a complaint by an individual who took us to the CZM Commission, and we had to get it through the Board of Land Use Appeal, which created another holdup in getting this done. But eventually, we got a lot of the dust clear.
An amended agreement was signed in May of this year, which settled the lawsuit against the Virgin Islands by Southland Gaming for breach of contract. That company agreed in exchange for an extended monopoly on video lottery terminals on St. Thomas to fund the construction of a fully developed racetrack for which the government would need to find a promoter. Since May, St. Thomas has seen progress on the construction of its racing track. The agreement with VIGL announced today, Bryan said, now secures the construction of the track on St. Croix, with movement on that project to be seen within the next 3 months.
So the most significant things you need to know about this plan that we're going to sign today is the track's going to get built, and it's going to get built in quick fashion. The second thing you need to know is that what we're going to do as a result of a lot of money that was invested in St. Thomas and the St. Croix tracks, the demolition of the stands, and what we feel was a good faith effort of VIGL to be a partner, the Virgin Islands is going to pony up $5 million in support of rebuilding this place. Before this contract was signed, VIGL had an exclusive right to horse racing and racino in the Virgin Islands. Now that is limited to just St. Croix. So one of the things that this settlement does for us now that we have this signed is they invested a lot of money in St. Thomas, and there was no real way to pay them back or to make a good faith gesture for that investment. The amount of years that they actually maintained both tracks and kept them running in anticipation, the extension of the track that they did, the guardrails, and significant work in St. Thomas as well, repairing of the barns. All that money kind of like went down the drain in a way. So that's why we're subsidizing now, putting back this effort here to get this track up and get it running.
That $5 million will come from the St. Croix Infrastructure Fund, with the governor noting that securing funds from the Federal Emergency Management Agency would have introduced further delays. Bryan made a point of noting that this time around there would be a tighter schedule in terms of how quickly the track would be built. Managing partner and chief financial officer of VIGL, Andrew DeBeek, outlined some of the next steps.
Within the next 2 weeks, I have to come back to the governor with a project management plan that he has to approve. From there, the project management plan needs to go to permitting. And then after permitting, we have some licensing that we have to deal with. And after that, we can really start digging. But in advance of that, we're going to do everything we can on a pre-permit basis to make things move along.